Now let's analyze what we've actually done and the parts of the interface that we've used to make this happen. The first part that we used was up here at the top of what is the tool palette. So you'll notice the tool palette here, and you'll notice the tool palette there. Both places will have the same controls. But by default, ZBrush starts with the tool palette off to the right tray. And so right and left, ZBrush has these empty trays that you can put things into. I can grab the document menu, click that swatch, and throw it off over there. I can collapse the tray that the tool palette is in, or I can open it. And then I click anywhere inside this tray, drag up and down to manipulate what's in that tray. So for example, I could have a lot of items in that tray. Let's throw the texture in there. Let's throw a transform in there. And so you can see it goes way down to the bottom here. All I have to do is find an empty area, click and drag up and down. And then to remove the item from the tray, just click the swatch icon. So again, to put it back, let's say I accidentally remove the tool palette, open the tool palette along the top, click the swatch icon, and it gets thrown back over there. Alright, so we used load tool to make that happen. Then we also used the shelf area for a couple of different items. One of the big items was being able to draw the model onto the canvas and go into edit mode. And edit mode was a very important feature. You saw that if I didn't have the model in edit mode, I would basically draw lots of them all right next to each other. So I'm going to drop out of edit mode and draw a bunch of these guys on the canvas. Then put one in edit mode, which is the last one that I drew. And then go to layer clear. Or you can also just press Control N. Alright, so immediately we used edit. Then the next thing that we used was off to the side. These options for rotating, for scaling, and for moving our model. Now remember, you can press and hold Control to actually get pop-up help on that. Almost every single interface item has pop-up help in it so that you can learn about it. And so the hotkeys are there as well in case you forget. Now the next item that we spent some time looking at was the brush palette. So just by clicking this little icon here, we were able to open up a brush palette that would give us a lot of options for what we were going to work with. And we immediately switched to the Move brush right here. And we only spent time in Move and Standard. Later on we will look at all of these brushes. But Move and Standard are pretty much the brushes that we start out with. Move establishes our general proportions. Standard establishes our internal form. The next item that we looked at was draw size. And so draw size was used to increase the size of our brush, our sculpting brush. So we can be going up to 250. You can see that the area effect is very large. Or I can go down and the area effect is very small. You can also scale the model down to help you affect a larger section of it as well. Now to frame this model, you just press F or tap one of these navigation controls. So occasionally, if you're really zoomed in, you can just tap the navigation control to send it back. Remember, the hotkey for that is F. Okay. And then the last thing that we took a look at was inside the draw palette. I'm going to send it off to the tray. Is we made sure that we had perspective on. In perspective, we saw changed it pretty dramatically. So let's turn perspective off. And you can see the difference in the sculpt is pretty severe. It's most severe in the 3/4, where you can see that the relationship between the nose and the cheek is completely inaccurate unless you're in perspective mode. And since I sculpt a lot in 3/4 mode and sculpt this profile, that would just create a lot of distortion in the model that then later needs to be fixed. Now, those are the only items that we've looked at in the interface so far. So let's look at the next series of items to get us more control over our sculpting.